Now we address another important topic on marriage laws in Nigeria. From my previous post, a question has been asked, inbox, by many people. Some women wanted to know the rights they have when they were married only under the customary law. In other words, from my previous post, many people discovered the rights that are attached to a woman when she's married under the Act. They have learned that because May Edochie, May, the wife of Yule Edochie, married him under the Act, May has certain rights, which include the right against polygamy. Because May was married under the Act, her husband cannot have a second wife. I'm sure this revelation is very interesting, and many women married under the Act felt a sense of relief as they now know that their husbands cannot marry second wives. That's one of the rights that goes with being married under the Act. There are other rights that go with being married under the Act. One, I indicated right against polygamy. Your husband cannot have a second wife. Two, right against adultery. Marriage under the Marriage Act forbids adultery. The way it forbids adultery is that it makes it a ground for divorce. It makes adultery one of the most powerful grounds for adultery. Not only that, it also allows you to sue that person who committed adultery with your husband. In other words, if you are suing your husband for divorce, you can attach the name of the person he's been committing adultery with and claim damages against that person. It happens. That's another right to have when you're married under the Marriage Act. Then you have other rights. Rights to the fact that the law will treat you equally when it comes to custody of your children. This idea that children belong only to the father, it doesn't exist if you're married under the Marriage Act. So you have a right. If you're married under the Marriage Act, nobody's going to push you away and say children belong to their father. No. Under the Marriage Act, children belong to both parents equally. Two, this is the fourth point. If you're married under the Marriage Act, you have what is rights to equitable share of the marital property. Let us call it, for the purpose of discussion, let's call it community property. It says that properties acquired during the marriage, regardless of who acquired it, belongs to both husband and wife. And if they divorce, the court will share that property between them. That's the right you have, also under Marriage Act. Also, you have rights to use your husband's property without being accused of stealing. You can't steal the properties of your husband. A husband cannot steal the properties of the wife if they had marriage under the Marriage Act. There are other things. Spousal privileges under evidence law. A whole lot of things. When a woman is married, when a man, I say a woman or a man because it can work either way. When you are married under the Act, you enjoy a lot of protections. Your rights in the marriage are full, complete. You are covered. Because of this, some women who did not marry under the Act, they married under the customary law and did nothing. And by the way, let me correct an impression. Almost all marriages in Igbo will start first by traditional marriage. Then they go further to have church marriage or registry marriage. So in every marriage in Igbo, among the Igbos, you are going to find that they are married both traditionally and in the church or registry. That is many marriages. However, when you marry under the tradition and then you subsequently marry under the registry takes over. The registry marriage takes over the entire marriage. The marriage is governed not by the customary law you married under initially, but by the statutory marriage rules. So, most people have these two sets of marriages. They went through the two sets of marriages. Most people with registry marriage, or most people that married under the Act, also married traditionally. But which law governs their marriage? Is it the traditional marriage rules or the statutory marriage rules? It is the statutory marriage rules. Once statutory marriage comes in, it wipes out the customary marriage as the governing rule. So your rights will be regulated under the Marriage Act, not under the traditional marriage rules or customary marriage rules. But what about those who finished traditional marriage but did not go further? They had a traditional marriage, customary marriage, big party, but after that, the man refused to go to registry, or they failed to go to registry. In that case, their marriage is strictly customary law marriage and governed under customary law. And somebody has asked me, what are the rights of a wife under the customary marriage laws? I'm going to say something that will shock some of you. It may not it may not please you. But if you only had a customary marriage, you cannot enjoy most of the rights of a wife. As I had said sometime in the past, if your marriage is solely under customary law, your rights are comparable to the rights of a concubine or the rights of a mistress. You are not really. They call you wife, customary law wife, but you do not have rights to share property in the event of divorce. You may not have equal rights over custody issue. And certainly if your husband can accuse you of stealing his property and have the police arrest you, because customary law marriage did not create that community of property principle. And also, you will not enjoy immunity or privileges under the Evidence Act in case you are compelled to testify against your spouse. So, it is very interesting that you understand your rights. That if you're married under the customary law, you don't have the rights or protection provided under the Marriage Act. Then what does it mean? Does it mean you're finished? No. It means you should protect yourself. It means that this house your husband is building, you have no share in it, in case. So you have to start putting things aside for yourself. It's unfortunate, but it's a reality. You cannot build together with your husband and expect rights to be vested if you're married under the customs. So if you don't have statutory marriage, you should begin to save money for yourself, for your own, because you have no share in the property in your husband's name. Thank you.